All right, good morning everyone, and welcome to Murphy's Law Garage. Been a little while since we shot some video because family, but today we're gonna head on down to Bahia to Skunk Works and clean the frame of the truck a little better. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little wet outside today, so X-nay on a bunch of grinding and things in the rain. But you can see I've got my pressure washer and a fuel can and a potato pump. So I'm gonna go put some gas in that can, and the next time you see me, we'll be down to buy it. Hold on a second. Well, as you saw, I've gone ahead and got the pressure washer set up. Big girl right here. She's got 24 PSI behind her, 2400 PSI behind her. I think it'll do a little better than Mom's electric pressure washer. But I've got the entire frame and engine sprayed down with some degreaser, some commercial degreaser that just came from Sam's, real cheap by the gallon. I don't think I mixed it thick enough. Concentrated enough, like, I don't know, probably put 2 cups of degreaser and then water. Probably should have been double that. The grease on this motor is real thick, you hear me? We're gonna go ahead and get the pressure washer fired up. You saw I got it running. She needs a little squirt of fuel in the intake to get going because the primer bulb is froze up. That pressure washer should be able to blast most of this off of here even without a lot of degreaser, and then we'll strengthen some up and come back after and knock some more off. So let's get at it. What better? Look how wet and miserable it is outside. What better day than to make the ground more wet? Let's get it done. Well, that was one tank of fuel. I know it might seem a little boring to watch me do this, but it's really important for this process. All of you that are here to see what it's gonna take to actually put this together and make it work, and maybe also do the same thing with your own truck, wanna see what it takes, and may end up being one of those things where I even fast forward a time lapse to get through it a little quicker, but we're one tank of fuel down in the pressure washer, and it's already made a huge difference. So let me turn you around so y'all can see this. It is tremendously cleaner. So there is still a film all over everything. What's beautiful about living in the South, and I'm sorry for all the up north boys that are on here watching this, but all of these bolts, even though they've got surface rust on them, or, you know, knock on wood, going back right out of the bolts are all going to back right out like they should, hopefully. The light surface rust that's on the frame, the little bit of flaky stuff that was on there came right off with the pressure washer. And I'm actually having second thoughts about the idea of sandblasting. I'm actually thinking, rather than sandblasting, we might actually go with an Eastwood product or something, some form of really nice rust converter. And right before we paint the frame, hit it with the pressure washer to knock as much of the paint off of the frame, maybe even do some scuffing, but it seems like most of it would come off with the pressure washer. Let it flash rust and then put a rust converter on it. Mainly because those rust converters make for a really, really hard shell on the frame, and it protects it really well. And then we can scuff the shell that it makes on the frame and spray it with engine enamel or something like that to make it look real pretty, or some frame paint. Anyways, let me get some gas in the pressure washer and we'll get back at it and get going on the other side of it. Well, the sun's come out a little bit more from behind the clouds. Y'all might can see how nice the frame is turning out. Starting to look really good. I'm the kind of guy that likes to work on something clean if possible, and all the metal work we're going to do on this thing, it'd be nice not to have to fight through that grease all the time. He said we're probably going to end up pressure washing this thing 4 or 5 times before it's finally painted and all pretty. How nice that motor's looking. Looks way better than it did before. Today, I might show y'all a little surprise for bearing with all of this pressure washing. It's something to do with that snail-like thing right there. Oh, hey, look, sun came out some more. Let's walk back around right here. Look at how much better it's looking. I'm gonna put a little bit more degreaser on this thing, try to get some more film off of it, and then I'm gonna pressure wash the cement pad that we're sitting on, because I've done made a mess of it, and we're gonna be kneeling and laying down and rolling around in this for months to come. So let me get that done. Here comes some more time lapse, guys. So our frame is washed and pretty darn dry. I'm going to move on to preparing this frame to be shortened. Sorry about the background noise. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I've got a Sawzall right there, and this exhaust pipe is in our way. It cannot be unclamped because it's been clamped and welded. It was still leaking, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up, and we're going to get the exhaust pipe cut and get it out of our way. Well, we've got that end off. I don't know if we can take this off in one piece, but I'm gonna try to save the blade as much as possible. Look at this special stuff right here. See a bracket coming down, it might be OEM. They've got a piece of like rubber belt or track conveyor belt material of some sort, and that's what's hanging the actual exhaust pipe. And it looks like they had the old welding wire or hanger special going on here off the leaf spring hanger previously holding this up. So I think I'm probably, wow, that's even riveted on there. I don't think that bracket is OEM. I'm probably just going to cut the rubber tether here, and then we'll see if we can snake this out of the hole. All right, so one more cut. Now that we've got the exhaust out of the way, we need to keep moving forward with getting all of the things off that are in the way of us cutting the frame and shortening it from this overlap we found the last time. I believe I'm going to move on to the drive shaft, and then after that we'll tackle the fuel lines and the tank most probably. I don't know if I'm going to get into cutting this plate off just here today, though I may need to just to make it easier to get the fuel tank off, but we will figure that out. By the way, y'all, surprise that I talked about earlier is sitting right behind the camera and you can't see it. We'll get to that later. Want to see why I don't believe it was actually the lift pump that killed this truck? This is a super common problem with second gens. This thing just goes to hell inside the tank. You get cracks in these lines right here and they suck air. You get cracks in this top cap and it sucks air. The diesel in here, and there's a good chunk of it. Looks like half a tank. It's probably all varnished now. It's who knows how long that's actually been in there. It looks like it's actually mostly red diesel, which doesn't surprise me considering it was used as a farm truck. I'm just gonna close that back up again. Try not to get diesel everywhere. I've got the fill hose off and that taped up, and either I'm gonna use some ropes, I'm gonna bring the engine hoist out here, or I'll bring the jack out. I'm not sure. We'll come up a way to get this to the ground without dropping it real hard, because this tank is still good and they're pretty expensive new, and somebody could use this on their truck. So let me get that closed back up and then you'll see me start dropping the tank down. So I'm sure this will probably go horribly wrong. But I took the two straps loose that hold this tank in, and the strap stayed right where it was bolted in, and the nuts came off. So got a nice plastic pallet underneath it, and I think if I bump it once or twice, it probably won't break when it hits. You're here to find out. Let's see. Let's do it gently, huh? Oh. Wow. So now you know if you have a second gen Dodge, you don't need those nuts that hold those straps on. It ain't just gonna fall off, apparently. I think that this is long enough to really comfortably poke at this, but let's try it. I'm really surprised it's not just falling off. Though it's probably to do with just how much diesel is inside of it right now. The strap just can't let go. In fact, I bet if I were to pick up on the tank, the strap would pop off and it would fall. Or we could jump on it. Let's try that. Because screws saying things, right? Oh, there's one. I'm gonna bust my butt. You just watch. Well, hey. And I didn't bust my butt. Getting it out of there ought to be interesting. Might even have to pick up on one side of the frame. We'll get it out of there. Well, look at how much more room for activities there is. I think the next time that we're down here at the shop, all I need to do, we've got this brake line here that goes to the back that of course I'm gonna have to remake. Honestly, it's rubbed on the frame in so many places. If otherwise, I could have gotten away with just bending it straight a little bit over here once we collapse that 30 inches and redoing the fixture on the end of it, but because it's been rubbed on so much, I'm very likely not gonna. We're gonna pull it off and rebuild it. You can see that the tank was hiding a good bit of junk back here that I just didn't get to. So I'm gonna have to pressure wash it again. Like I said, you're gonna see me pressure wash this thing a whole bunch of times. I've got me a glove over that to make sure that no, the input or output, the tail shaft, make sure nothing gets up in there or rust. And you see we got the drive shaft completely removed. In fact, the only wire we've got left back there is for the ABS sensor. I'm gonna tie that up out of harm's way. It looks real good. Now, sun's starting to go down. It's getting dark. And I promised all of y'all that there would be a surprise. And I can't tell if that wind that's coming at me right now is bothering y'all, but it may be, and I'm sorry about that. But anyways, let's get to the surprise. And that is a turbo. There it is. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an HX35. I don't remember the letter model of this, like it's HX35Y or something like that. This is the stock turbocharger that comes with these trucks. This one has got lots of shaft play. Not surprising considering 260,000 miles. This is a very nearly brand new pull-off HX40. I believe it's an HX40W. This is an 8-blade compressor, which to my understanding is actually a pretty uncommon one. But there is no movement in or out, and she spins beautifully. It's like a brand new turbo. This is going to push a decent chunk more air than the HX35. It's a real cheap alternative to getting, you know, like a Borg Warner turbo. Most probably won't make that kind of power, but it'll be a lot better spooling than an HX35. Not quickly, of course, but it'll give us more top end power where that HX35 on the stock trucks usually tends to run out of breath. Now that turbo's the turbine inlet. This will bolt here to the manifold, no problem. And this turbo, holding it up next to the motor, is clocked all kinds of wrong. So I'm actually going to have to clock both the turbine section and the compressor section, because whenever you hold it up here, the center section is aiming sideways and not straight up and down for oil. So I'm gonna have to loosen those up and twist it around and get it all in the right position. But it's all good. It's also got a externally wastegate control port here. Like these stock setups got a hard line on this, so we can actually do some manual boost adjustments here. So that'll be nice. Anyways, I thought y'all might like to see the new turbo. This is what's going to be making all our chooching noises, and will also require us to get a new one of these, because after possible engine modifications to handle all kinds of boost on this end, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is going to self-destruct. But I've got a guy for that. So the guy that I have, his name is Michael Frazier. He built the transmission, did that 4R100 modification conversion on David's Bronco's transmission. He runs performance transmissions out in Mississippi, and he's going to be the fellow that's going to work with us on this. He does fantastic work, super quick turnaround, really nice guy, always wants to do the right thing. He's not going to overcharge you for what you need to make the power. And if any of y'all are in the market for a transmission and you're in the Gulf States area, he's the one you should go to. Now, what I'm hoping to be able to do with this, and I was talking with Michael about, is that I really don't want to have to bring the PCM over from the 94 truck, because the 47 RH, even though it's technically not an electronic transmission, it's hydraulically shifted, still needs a computer to tell it when to go into overdrive and lock up. And I don't want to bring those electronics. I will if I have to, but Michael tells me there's somebody possibly making a valve body we can put in this thing that allows for those functions to be controlled mechanically, hydraulically. And ideally, that's what I want to do. So I said I'll be getting with him soon. We're gonna need a built transmission for this, because I believe even at stock power levels, with my stupidity in driving, I'm sure I'm going to smoke this transmission. It's possible it's been rebuilt before. I don't know. I don't have any idea. It does look like it's possibly been split before by some gunk hanging out of the case, but it's impossible to tell. There's no service history on it. So, yep, that's it for today. Starting to get dark. I'm going to head home. Look, guys, I really appreciate everyone watching. The next episodes to come may or may not be about the Ramcharger project, the diesel conversion. It's my own personal project, and I am not made of money. I work a lot, and the wifey's already fussed me for how much money I've spent. So as we get some dollars here and there, I'm going to come down here and work on this. Anything that I can apply elbow grease to that doesn't really cost us much of anything, I'm going to do that. But we have customers' vehicles and friends' vehicles that's going to need work. So we're going to do a lot of that, and every now and again we're going to squeeze one of these in right here. I believe that pretty soon here we'll probably be doing another episode on the Bronco, fixing some oil leaks that popped up since the truck was built, and getting some other things working right on it. So if you don't mind, tell all your friends and family about the channel. You know, if you got co-workers and such that are car guys, and y'all can help me out by getting more subscribers. I don't know if y'all want me to start a Patreon or something like that. If y'all want to donate or have a P.O. box to send stuff for the truck, I can do that. Y'all just let me know down below. But get people to subscribe. Let's try to get this channel up in subscribership, and maybe we can get monetized. And once that happens, all of the money that I make from monetization from YouTube or Patreon and stuff like that is going to go towards these cool projects. But anyways, thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Y'all check us out on Facebook, Murphy's Law Garage, YouTube, and come back with us next time, all right? Thank you.